Hello friends and welcome back to Generation Pixel, and today, well, you probably guessed from the titles and the splash screen, but it's going to be a pickups day, and you're going to have to bear with me because there's 48 games, some of them quite special, well, special to me, and a whole new system, so just wait until I get them gathered and I'll see you after the titles. Okay, so as I says, I've got 48 games here and a brand new system to show, so bear with me. Now also, I'll be upfront and honest, yes, I know my current collection, the Omega collection as I'm calling it now anyway, was supposed to be focusing basically, well, mostly on the PlayStation 2 for the initial stages anyway of the collection. But of course I've just managed to get back out into the wild and, well, just too many shiny things out there, and it was such a pleasure not having to rely solely on online shopping like eBay and Amazon or even Facebook Marketplace that, you know what, I just had to grab whatever caught my attention at the time. Now, some of the pickups are filler, I won't lie. Some of the pickups are games that I really wanted back into the collection, and some of them, of course, were inspired by you. Well, might not be exactly you, but someone out there watching as well. So, as I said, 48 games, another system, and we might as well get cracking. And as the way I like to do it is I like to start with the newest games and then work my way back. So we'll start with my second white top. So that's, yes, another PlayStation 5 game getting added into the collection, and Immortals Phoenix Rising. Now I have played this now and completed it and thoroughly enjoyed it. It's you know, the best way to describe this is it's Assassin's Creed, or the modern day Assassin's Creed games, but for a less mature audience. And I'm not saying that I'm less mature, but it is fantastic. The sense of humour is wonderful. It's great for both adults and children, and I can heartily recommend this one if you're into big wide open spaces and lots of stuff to do, your Breath of your Wilds, and of course the recent Assassin's Creed game. So there we go, a PlayStation 5 game. So that's two of them now in the collection. Now, moving down a generation, I managed to pick up this, now Red Dead Redemption 2, something that I had before that I got rid of. To be honest with you, I spent about 3 weeks in this game just hunting and fishing. Now I've got it back, I'm going to play it through again from the beginning and get to the end of the story, because, well, it leads on to one of the best games that were ever made, and that was Red Dead Redemption. So Red Dead Redemption 2 for the PlayStation 4 back in the collection, and quite happy with that one. It only cost me £6.99, so quite a deal. Down a generation again, and as I said, we will rattle through this as quickly as possible. The only Wii game that I've picked up Red Steel. I know it doesn't get great reviews, but you know what, it's interesting, it looks fun, and it's one I definitely want to give a try, and one I definitely want in the Wii collection. I mean, there is a lot of shovelware for the Wii, and there's a lot of games I just won't buy for it, but even if this is bad, it still looks nice. So let's get out the handguns and the katanas, one of my favourite weapons of course, and I got some Red Steel. So, still on the same generation, moving on to the PlayStation 3, yeah? So at least I'm back onto my Sony track, and the first one, Batman Arkham City. Now, haven't played it like I haven't played Arkham Asylum, which I had in a previous pickups, but so many people in the comments went on about how good the Batman games are that I decided just to pick them up, so when I get a chance to sit down and play them, I can play them all in order, which is the way I like to play games. So there we go, that's Batman Arkham City. Next one up, Motorstorm Pacific Rift. Now, again, I'm not a big arcade racing fan, but got kids and kids love them, and by the looks of this one, it certainly has some potential for just some couch co-op or some playtime with the kids, with a game that's not too deep, not too intense, and something we can just drop into and drop out of. And of course, you know, I'm collecting again, so it doesn't matter what I buy, it's something that's added to the collection. Also, out in the wild, and a lot of these games are picked up for 99p, and I don't know if you can see that right there, if it focuses, but for under £1 or just £1 for a game, I'm not going to knock them back. Resistance 2, another game that I didn't play back when it got released, but they get good reviews and there's a trilogy, so what I'll be doing is getting 1, 2 and 3 and hopefully being able to play them back to back as well. Next one up, another £1 game and 99p game, and that's Tiger Woods PGA Tour 11. Now, it doesn't matter which Tiger Woods game, I will buy most if not all the Tiger Woods games. Not a big sports games fan, but there are a few that, you know, I love to delve into, and the golf games are certainly one of them. I mean, that passion for the golf games, not for playing real golf mind you, but for the golf games, go back to world class leaderboard on the ZX Spectrum, so that's quite a way away. And of course Tiger Woods, it's a big step up from that. So next again, we have Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Now, the reason I'm picking this up, and most people that know me know I'm a big fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise. What I did back in the day with one of my many collections, had all these, but I bought the trilogy, the Ezio collection, and when I bought the Ezio collection I felt I didn't need the PlayStation 3 games anymore, but getting back into not so much super serious collecting, but collecting at least what I want back in, I had to go back to the Assassin's Creed games and bring them back into the fold because they are very special to me. Next up, I will point out it's a 99p game and not a £19 99p game, and it's Virtua Tennis 4. I've played a little bit of tennis on various systems, not my one go-to that I don't ever just pick up a tennis game, it would be a golf game. But I was watching the Game Shack and one of the games that he was showing was Actua Tennis, so I remember playing Actua Tennis back in the day, so I'm going to pick up some Virtua Tennis just to compare them, and of course a tennis game in the collection, and it won't be the only tennis game I don't think. If I recall rightly, I did pick up 2. Now, another one that I picked up for 99p again. I will state that every game that I picked up came complete and in good condition as well, so it wasn't just, you know, 99p for disc only or battered cases or no manuals or manuals in bad condition. Every one of these games I managed to get out in the wild, fantastic condition. And Max Payne, or Max Payne 3, again, it's another series I haven't played but I've always wanted to. You know what it's like, if you have a set of games that you play, that's the ones that you go to. It's kind of like YouTube videos. You have a set of creators that you watch and you have a list of other ones that you want to watch or watch on a semi-regular basis, but it takes a while to get round to them sometimes. But we do try, and it's another series that I'm going to delve into and see just how good it actually was. So I'm hoping not to be let down with that, but I don't think I will be. Now next up, we have Tomb Raider Underworld, but for the PlayStation 3. Now, I believe this is also on the PlayStation 2, again complete in box, and I will of course pick that up because I will be going for a full set of Tomb Raider. Every Lara out there is one that I'm going to be picking up, that I have no doubt about. Obviously back in the day, the first Tomb Raider game was immensely important to my gaming arc as I was moving forward from the 16-bit machines to the 32. So now the next one, again still on the PlayStation 3, and we have Mafia 2. Now this one cost me £4, but it is in lovely condition. All complete, got its cardboard slipcase, which is quite nice as well, and the reason I bought this is I love Mafia 3. I absolutely adored Mafia 3, especially the soundtrack. I know a lot of people didn't like it or found it too repetitive. I absolutely loved the stealth in the game. I played the original Mafia, not the original Mafia. I picked it up last month, but I played the remaster, remake, the special edition, the one that came out, and I loved that Mafia. So I've picked up this for the PlayStation 3, so I'll have both of these. I will pick up the remastered trilogy because I want to play this as well, even though it got some shocking reviews at the time, the Mafia 2 that was remastered. But I want to pick it up and give it a go anyway because, you know, sometimes reviews are wrong. Next one I picked up, again, it wasn't $39.99, this was another 99p game, and it's Formula 1, again complete. As I said, every game that I've managed to pick up in the wild is complete. To be honest with you, I wouldn't pick them up, they would have to be quite special for me to pick them up, not complete at the moment, because at the moment this is for a collection. Now Formula 1 games, again, I'm much more interested in the simulation racing games than the arcade racing games, so I will get stuck into the Formula 1 games, and I will probably not get every year, but I will get a selection of years just to see the improvements and the advancements in both software and hardware. So we have some Formula 1. Next up, I had to go for some Turok in the PlayStation 3. Again, complete, never played it, but it's dinosaurs, it's machine guns. I mean, there's nothing I'm not going to like about it, so it's another one I'm looking forward to, and I can imagine a lot of you out there thinking, how are you going to get through these? Well, I'll make time. Now, Lee, the nerdy geezer, spoke about this just recently. We just have to make time. Every spare moment we can get, we can dip in. As I said, I've managed to finish Immortals Phoenix Rising, and it was just a case of, if I had half an hour, I would pop in, you know. If I got up an hour early, I could play a bit earlier before I went to work and stuff. So next up, another arcade racer, Pure, and again, this is mainly for co-op play or just some fun time with the kids, because as a gamer, obviously I'm raising my kids to be gamers, and one of the easiest games to play with kids is arcade racers, there's no doubt about it. They all enjoy them, they'll all get stuck into them. So there's Pure, which again, never played because I'm not an arcade racing sim fan. The next one, however, is Stuntman Ignition. Now, I loved the Stuntman games back in the day, and I never played this one. I don't know where it falls in with the rest of them, but of course, being a PlayStation 3 game, then it's probably going to be a lot better than some of the older ones that I probably remember from back in the day. This one, just a couple of pounds, so, and it looks like it'll be fun. They were fun, the original ones back in the day, so I've got no doubt about it. Next one I picked up, and again purely because it was 99p, and we have Sports Champions, PlayStation Move required. Now, I have the iToy, the PlayStation 3 camera, if that's what they called that iteration, and of course I've got the motion or the move controllers for my VR, and I never really used this functionality of the PlayStation 3. We had one game, I've got one game for it, it's the Harry Potter Book of Spells, where the kids absolutely loved, you know, waving the wands to cast the spells, but you thought, you know what, let's see how it did try and compete with the Wii, because the Wii did get it as spot on as we could probably have had it back then. Okay, moving on. We have Virtua Tennis 3. As I said, there was going to be two. This one was $1.99, and it was the first tennis game that I saw when I was out, and I decided to pick it up. 4 was 99p, and I thought, you know what, if I've got 3, I'll get 4. There can't be that many, and you know what, a complete set of Virtua Tennis might not be that bad. As I say, I'll dip into tennis games from time to time. Golf will be my mainstay, but it's not going to do no harm. Next up, £1.50 for Hitman Absolution. Now, I absolutely adored Hitman and Hitman 2, Silent Assassin, back in the day. That was on the PC and then on the PlayStation 2. never really got round to this. I believe I played a little bit of Contracts and Blood Money, but by the time it got round to the PlayStation 3, no, I haven't really played this, and I didn't quite enjoy the PlayStation 4 games and now PlayStation 5, as I felt I was given too much freedom. But you know what, I'll probably sit down with them when I've got a lot of time to get stuck into them. But I would imagine this is more of an upgrade of the PlayStation 2 games and the early PC games, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the PlayStation 3 did with Hitman. So, what we got next? Oh, it's another Assassin's Creed, and of course it's Assassin's Creed Revelations. As I say, I'll have to get them all back into the collection. I do still have my original Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed 3 because they weren't part of the Ezio collection, but I had to get back all the Ezio ones, and Ezio is... I'm going to say he's tied with Edward Kenway. Ezio is certainly the best assassin in the Assassin's Creed franchise universe, and Edward Kenway is certainly the best pirate, almost assassin in the Assassin's Creed universe. So again, this one came complete with the soundtrack as well that this one came with, manual included, and Assassin's Creed, so we're getting them back into the collection basically, which is much needed because, as I says, I'm a big fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise. Assassin's Creed was the game, it was a tipping point for me saying no, I'm definitely getting the PlayStation 3. Now next up, a game that I picked up again, and I picked it up for £2.50, and it's in lovely condition as well, complete with manual. Haven't even taken it out the sleeve that it came in, but it's all there. And I'm not a big fan of hack and slash, but sometimes they're nice just to dip into, and this is one that I never really got into. Obviously I think it's more of a Nintendo franchise, Bayonetta, but here we have it for the PlayStation 3. It was in lovely condition, it is relatively cheap, and considering that the price of PlayStation 3 probably will grow over the next 5 years, just due to the fact that people of that age will be getting to a point where they've got some expendable income and they'll be going back to the system that they have nostalgia for. So next up we have Far Cry 3, which I have digitally. That's easy for me to say, digitally, but I decided to pick up the hard copy. Now I'll be honest with you, I wasn't overly impressed with this when I played it because I played it late. I played it after playing Far Cry 4 and 5. Far Cry 5 I love. Far Cry 4 found it was okay. Primal was fun, I'll give them Primal. It was fun and a little unusual being the caveman. So when I get round to playing Far Cry 3, because you see, didn't play first person shooters back in the day because of motion sickness, something that seems to be thankfully gone, but I didn't play games like this. And I think the problem that I have with this is that it doesn't have the frame rate, it doesn't have the graphics. Now, I'd never judge a game on that, but first person shooters, if you can get them smooth, they have to be smooth, well, personally for me, and I think that's one of the things that may kick off the motion sickness. Be honest with you, I don't know whether I'll get a lot of hate for this, but I wasn't overly impressed. I mean, I played a fair bit of it and I wasn't overly impressed with, is it Vass, the bad guy in this? I think I much preferred the Seed family as antagonists, but personal preferences. Now, moving on to the last of the PlayStation 3 games, and I don't remember how much I paid for this. This one was definitely bought because of someone else, one of my fellow tubers out there, and that would be Mark. That's right, Geordie Slasher Gaming, Enslaved, Odyssey to the West. He's raved about this a couple of times, or I believe he has, or maybe I've just been dreaming, but he's went on about it. It looks RPG from, yeah, it looks like an RPG. I hope it's an RPG. An action adventure, epic action adventure gameplay, so it should be right up my street. It's one I never got round to. I don't even think I was aware of it until I heard Geordie Slasher or Mark speaking about it. So yeah, this guy here is the guy who has pushed me down this path, so I hope his recommendation is good. So I'll have a jump cut because I need to bring the next pile up now, so bear with me for a fraction of a second. And as if by magic I'm back, and there's a whole new bundle of games sitting right there. And we're moving away from PlayStation 3 and down to the PlayStation 2. I know you're saying eventually because you're supposed to be focusing on your PlayStation 2 collection, but here we are, and here's the PlayStation 2 games I've managed to pick up, and again, rather cheap. Now, another tennis game, and we have Virtua Tennis 2 this time. And yes, picked this one up for the grand total of 50p. That's half of £1. That's, I don't know, 70 cents. Couldn't knock it back. Again, complete. Disc in great condition. And I had 3 and 4, so now I get 2, 3 and 4. So I'm going to have to pick up Virtua Tennis 1 or Virtua Tennis at some point. Next on, picked up this boy. Now, I wasn't going to collect the Harry Potter games. I mean, I enjoyed the books when I read them back in the day when they first came out, and the movies are fun kids movies, which nothing wrong with that, they're enjoyable. But the first one of this series, the Philosopher's Stone in the PlayStation 2, for some reason has jumped from about a £3-4 game to a £90 to £100 game. Now, I'm not going to pay £90 to £100 for a Harry Potter game, I'll tell you that straight off. But you know what, I'm going to pick up the second one, just in case. It will go into the collection. If it does jump in value, I probably won't sell it. What I'm expecting is the first one to drop back down. There's been some sort of blip or something. I don't know. If anyone out there in the comments has any inkling as to why the first Harry Potter game in the PlayStation 2 has just went through the roof price wise, drop it down in the comments, because I'd truly love to know what went on there. Anyway, moving on, and again, games for £1, and X-Men Legends 2, The Rise of Apocalypse. Game I've not played, but it's an X-Men game, or X-Men game, so it's worthy, definitely worthy of being in the PlayStation 2 collection that I'm putting together, and definitely one that comes straight away. It's not one that I would consider shovelware, so it's not one that I'll wait until the end before I start picking up, unless I see them extremely cheaper in bundles, which is probably the best way to pick up the less important titles. Moving on, a game that I've actually been dying to play that never got round to at the time, and that's Fahrenheit, or Indigo Prophecy as it was in the NTSC region. Now, again, never played it, picked it up complete, cost me £2, and I do like that style again. I mean, narrative's important to me and my gameplay, so this one I'm definitely looking forward to getting round to seeing, where I believe almost the start of, if not that genre, that style, that Heavy Rain, and what was the other one that I just recently played? Oh, somebody can drop it in the comments. Anyway, moving on. Again, another game. This one cost me, now I'm trying to think, about £3. Yeah, I picked these up in a bundle, and it's Ratchet & Clank 3. The reason that I'll be getting the Ratchet & Clank games, other than they're great games, is the better half loves Ratchet & Clank. She has a few franchises that she absolutely adores, and the Ratchet & Clank franchise is certainly one of them. So I'm putting together a Ratchet & Clank collection, not so much for my collection, but so she has a decent chunk of that collection for herself as well. So Ratchet & Clank 3 returning to the fold. Now, I also got for £3, and I was ecstatic about this on the PlayStation 2, Ratchet & Clank, but Size Matters. Now this is, again, complete and in great condition, and it's a game that, well, it should have cost me more than £3. This game is £15 to £20 any day of the week, and will probably rise as well. So Ratchet & Clank Size Matters, again, it goes into the Ratchet & Clank collection, just to keep significant other just a tad happier with the spending. This is all coming from this bundle, so as I say, I picked it up rather cheap, and Jak 3, again, it's a classic. Gotta love that early PlayStation 2 platforming style of game. I mean, it's easy to jump in and play. They have fantastic stories normally and a bit of tongue-in-cheek humour. And along with that bundle, with the Ratchet and Clank and the Jak 3, we have the Precursor Legacy as well. So picked up this boy, and that'll go neatly into the collection. Getting there, slowly but surely. Now in this bundle, I also picked up Vex, a game that I've never really heard of. Again, it looks very much in the same vein or style as your Ratchet and Clanks and your Jak and Daxters. Again, complete in this same bundle, and picked them up for a steal, an absolute steal. So Vex is a game that I'll definitely throw on, because obviously the beauty of the PlayStation 2 games, you can just throw them on and play them for, 20 minutes, half an hour, just to get a feel for them at the very least. It's not like the loading times it would take if I was playing, I don't know, one of my PlayStation 5 games for the first time, or a PlayStation 4 game either. If I threw in Red Dead Redemption 2, I'd be waiting half a day just for the game to install. So anyway, moving on, because I digress. We're trying to get through these games. And the next, we have The Incredibles. Again, came in the bundle. Oh no, this one didn't come in the bundle. This one was another 99p game. So, came complete. It's Incredibles. It's going to be an action platformer, I believe. And that's the sort of thing that anyone can just dip into every now and again. The kids love them. The better half loves them. And if it can keep everyone happy, that's a win for me. Right. Oh, this was one of the first games that I picked up. I picked up this game for 50p. Tekken 4 on the PlayStation 2. It was the first game that I picked up when I got back out into the wild, because Scotland's only just opened back up again. Again, I'm not a big fighter fan. One-on-one fighter games or even side-scrolling brawlers, it's not something that I've ever been overly interested in. But the Tekken series, I think it's iconic for PlayStation, and if I'm going to have a collection that's PlayStation centric, not completely PlayStation, but PlayStation centric, I'm going to have complete collections of things like Tekken. So I had no qualms for picking that up for 50p, half a pound. So next bundle, as I reach over, I picked up, now I spent probably the most money on this one. I believe, and that's £8 for Title Legends. Basically because, you know what, arcade classics, I mean, I can play them on emulators and the like, but something nice about sitting down and playing it on a console that it was ported to, and the PlayStation 2 was a fantastic console for that. So was, well, any PlayStation. So I thought, yeah, I'll definitely go for this. It's complete in box. £8, a little bit pricey. I could have probably got between 8 and 16 games for that, hunting elsewhere, but this is one I wanted. I've got a special place for Space Invaders anyway, so had to get it. Right, next up, I got two games, and I got these games for, I believe, £2 each. Came in a bundle, and that's the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, Ultimate Destruction, and the Hulk. Now, I don't believe the Hulk got great reviews, not terrible, but Ultimate Destruction seems to do quite well in reviews and ratings, and even on Metacritic. I might even pop up the Metacritic data on some of these games as I'm going along. And this one just looks, well, mindless fun, and if I'm not playing a big story game, give me a game where I can just run in and smash stuff up. I mean, it's a great way to wind down after a hard shift at work, or after an infuriating session editing your videos. So this is what I got this for, and the prices that I got them together were well worth it, so I was quite happy with that. Moving on, where are we going next? Still on PlayStation 2 at the moment, and here we have Scarface. And I got this game here for £3.99. This came out of the same charity shop, or Goodwill store as you would say in the States, is the 99p games. But obviously the new Scarface, The World Is Yours, is a game that can command a little bit more money, and at $3.99 I wasn't going to knock it back. It came complete, the disc in great condition, and this is, well, in PAL regions at the moment you're looking between £8 and £15 depending where and when you can get it, so I was happy to get this one. Certainly happy to get that one. Next one is one of the first games again that I got when I was back out in the wild. Cost me 50p. It's Robot Warlords. Never played it, and it's, as you can probably tell by the old, it's not a PEGI at the moment, it's an old, what was it, ESPA? The old rating system back in PAL regions. This is an early PlayStation 2 game, one I never get round to, but again it looks in great condition, complete with manual, and it's a game that I'm probably going to get run about and just destroy things as a giant robot warlord, so I'm not going to complain at 50p. Next up, very happy to get this in the collection, we have Monkey Island, or The Escape from Monkey Island. And you know what? If you don't like Monkey Island, or if you don't like games of this ilk, then you're probably like this guy here. And you know what? He just needs some help, some counselling, but he'll get there eventually. Anyway, enough of him. Let's move on to Monkey Island. Again, picked this one up for £3. Well worth the money, well, in my opinion anyway. The game was in lovely condition, complete with manual, and I can add this happily. This is a happy addition to the collection rather than just maybe a filler that will play time from time to time. Now, I did pick up the first game in this series last month, so when I saw this one for the paltry sum of £3, I thought, Tenchu, Wrath of Heaven, that's coming home with me. And again, as I say, I haven't picked up anything that's not complete. I mean, as I said, if something special was there, you know what, it's worth hunting a manual for. But other than that, if it doesn't have a manual, I'll probably not pick it up at the moment. Now, I won't complete. It's a collection more than just games to play. So yeah, haven't played this one. Played Tenchu, and I played Tenchu 2, and I think that's where I stopped. So looking forward to seeing the PlayStation 2 outing for Tenchu. Interesting stuff for me. And we have another one that I haven't played but gets, you know, decent reviews. £2. The Mark of Cree, and again, it looks like very much of its time. The PlayStation 2 put out some fabulous, you know, early 3D worlds where you were hack and slashy or brawler but in a 3D rather than side-scrolling beat 'em up sort of way. And yeah, gets good reviews. Anyone in the comments get any words about this, feel free to drop down. Same goes with any of the games that you've seen here, and feel free just to spam the comments. If you're watching this and I'm moving on to another game you want to comment, just comment straight away, feel free. Now, the last game of the PlayStation 2. So as you see, although I wasn't focusing on the PlayStation 2 as much as I probably should have, there's still a good number there bolstering that. And the last one, Crash Twin Sanity, £8. Another one of the games that I spent a little bit of money on, and this is another game that, as much as I enjoy the Crash games and the Ratchet and Clank games, this is another game for the good lady. I mean, she absolutely adores. There's 3 franchises in total that she absolutely loves. You've got Crash, you've got Ratchet and Clank, and you've got the Oddworld games. She absolutely loves them. So I'm getting those collections mainly for her part of the Omega collection, because this is the last collection I'm going to do, I'll be honest about that. Okay, I'm doing a quick jump cut because I nearly destroyed what I was just about to bring up, and I'm not letting that happen. Okay, so I'm moving on to another system now, the most retro of the systems that I'm picking up at the moment, and this was wonderful. I picked this up from eBay, so this didn't come from the wild, and I wouldn't have got this in the wild, I doubt. This is without a doubt my favourite pickup of the month. and I will explain why, because I picked up, as you can see, Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider 2, Tomb Raider 3, Tomb Raider, what's that, Chronicles, and Tomb Raider The Last Revelation. Now, you're saying £6 a pop, that's almost market value. £6 a pop for this entire bundle, so they all came together. £30, and they were advertised as not used. Now, you know what it's like, advertised as not used, and what you get is an absolute mess. But I'm not going to joke, I'll probably take some photographs of these because you won't see on video, but you can take my word for it, with the exception of it not being sealed. And I will gingerly open it up because these boxes are so tight. I believe I have opened them more just checking them and then opening them now than they've ever been opened. And as I say, they came complete. The boxes are in fantastic condition and so fresh. And the discs, yeah, they haven't been played. There's not a mark in any of these discs. Someone has had this, I don't know why they've had this, just sitting and decided to get rid of it. But as I say, Tomb Raider, really important franchise, not only to Sony but to myself. And to pick up these now, yes, I've got a couple of Ricochet for 1 and 2, 3 is a Platinum, and Black Label for Revelations and Chronicles. Now that doesn't bother me, I'm not that finicky when it comes to Platinums or re-release titles, but just to have these in this condition, considering their age, knowing that probably no one's ever played these games, and yes, I will play them, that's certainly a case. If these had came sealed, they would have been opened and played, I guarantee you that. And I am so looking forward to getting back into some proper old school Tomb Raider. I have loved the new stuff, I won't lie. I am dipping into the PlayStation 2 versions for the first time though. I haven't played much of, well, Anniversary is basically Tomb Raider but remastered, so that won't be too much of a jolt. And what was the other one, Legends and Underworld, that I've just got that came out for free as well. Haven't played them much, so I'm looking forward to diving into them, but I'll certainly be playing old school Lara because I'm bringing all my ladies home. Anyway, that's it for the games. One thing to go, brand new system. Now, it's a first for me, and I'm telling you why it's a first for me, because I don't pick up handheld systems. So this is the first handheld system I've ever bought for myself, and it's a PlayStation Vita, and it's covered in lovely fingerprints at the moment, but it's in lovely condition. I picked this up for, it was £78, so I'm absolutely not complaining. It came boxed, complete, all the manuals and everything, including the charger, official charger, even the little cloth came. It was okay, it was lovely. £78, not going to complain. Now, the reason I bought the handheld is I don't play handheld games, but the reason I bought this is I have a few PlayStation classics that you can play on this that I bought digitally. So this is going to become a machine that I use for a certain type of game that I love, and if you're out there, you know what type of game that is, and I will reveal in a second anyway. It's going to be, if it shows on the screen, my JRPG machine from the PlayStation, original PlayStation era. And of course the first game that I fired up was good old Final Fantasy VII, but there was going to be no mistake to that, was there? It's also got my Suikoden and Suikoden 2 on it. This is going to be my, you know what, it might take me away from catching up for some of the content that you guys are putting out there as well on YouTube, so I'll try not to take it on the bus, because that's one of the places where I can mostly catch up with the rest of you guys. Anyway, that's it. PlayStation Vita, brand new system, a new system completely for me, and a new style of gaming for me, because my first ever handheld system. Anyway, that's all I've got to show you. any comments if you want to talk about any of the games that I've picked up, if you want to talk about the Vita, if you want to talk about games you think I should pick up, you know what to do. Drop it down in the comments. I love to chat to you guys. Let me know your thoughts on what I have picked up, what I should pick up, what I should throw away, maybe, if you want to say that. But if you've enjoyed the video, then please give us a like because it helps the channel. And until next time, cheerio!